Hi, this is Kevin. Welcome to my tutorial on how to create an Anaconda virtual environment for our Jupyter notebook assignment. And in our class, we're using Anaconda to create virtual environments. And the tool that we're using in particular is the GUI version of that, Anaconda Navigator. So I'm going to start that up, and it's loading. Okay. The point of the assignment that we're doing is to follow best practices for using Jupyter notebooks. Okay, and one of the best practices is to create a specific virtual environment that includes all the requirements for the project that you're doing. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. I just want to point out that if you wanted to quickly get a virtual environment up and start the notebook server, you could use the built-in one that comes with Anaconda. And that is this one over here, the one that says Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so if we click on launch, it's going to fire up the terminal window. Okay, it's the terminal window. Okay, and I apologize for the noise here at Casa Trainer today. We're having some installations done, and so if you can hear that in the background, well, uh, it's all for the cause of progress, but I apologize for it. Okay, so it has started the Jupyter Notebook server and fired up the browser. Okay, and the reason why we see all these files and directories here is that by default it's essentially using my default directory on my Mac, which is the home directory for my user, which has a whole lot of files and directory. And if we wanted to create a new notebook, we would come over here and click on New Python 3, and off we would go. Okay, so that's that. Um, so let's close all that. Okay, if we close the browser, then we get back to the server. And the easiest way to stop the server is to click in the terminal window and at the keyboard do Control C, Control C. Okay, all done. Stop. Okay, so that's sort of a detour to talk about what you would do if you weren't doing what this tutorial is all about, which again is to create a virtual environment just for the project that you're doing. That's considered a best practice. Okay. All right, so let's click on environments, and we're going to create a new one. So we're going to go down to the middle panel and click on create, and we're going to give it a name. And the naming convention that we've been using is to begin with E4, environment 4 underscore, and we're just going to say Jupyter notebook assignment. So in snake case, Jupyter E4 Jupyter with a Y notebook assignment. There we are. Python 3.8 is just what we want, so click on create. And look down at the bottom. my virtual env is going into users, the trainer 1, opt Anaconda 3 envs. Okay, so that's how you know where your virtual environment was created. Okay, uh, are we done yet? No, we're not done because we just have the basic Python stuff. We don't have the Jupyter stuff yet. Okay, so and it looks like it's still doing some package loading. 15 packages available. I think that's all we're going to get for the basic Python one. Now this goes pretty fast on my machine because I've got a pretty fast machine and I also have a pretty fast internet connection. It probably goes slower on yours. Okay. Okay, so let's install the Jupyter packages that we need. We're going to go up to the top and on the drop down, we're currently shown the packages installed. Let's change that and pick not installed. So we're going to get a whole lot of them and they're grayed out because they're not installed. And go over to the search box and type in Jupyter with a Y and enter. And you can see we've got a bunch of Jupyter related projects, but the packages, but the only package that we need is the main one, Jupyter. So click the checkbox there. Okay, and any other ancillary ones, which includes some of the ones that we see here, will be automatically included. So in the lower right, we're going to click apply. Okay, and it found a bunch of them. Look at all those that it found. Now we're going to click apply again. And look down at the bottom in the right hand panel. And again, you can see the virtual engine is in users, trainer 1 apt, Anaconda 3 envs. And yours might be different, okay? This is how you find out where your virtual environments are. Okay, why are we going to need that? Well, we're probably going to need that when we get to PyCharm and we want to link up our new PyCharm project with the right virtual env. Okay, all right, so what if you forgot where your virtual env is? Okay, yeah, let's close Anaconda Navigator. Okay. Okay, so you're over in PyCharm, and you go, oh gosh, I don't remember where my virtual env is. Right? Okay, open up Anaconda Navigator. And again, it's a little pokey, but not too bad. All right, and go to Environments. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on and activate the one that we're interested in. And at the same time, we're going to look over in this right panel at the bottom. As it begins to load it up, we're going to see the file path for the virtual environment as it's loading it. And we're just going to look down and remind ourselves where it is. Okay. So for me, I'm going to click on E for Jupyter Notebook Assignment. And immediately I can see that mine's in users, trainer 1, opt, Anaconda 3, env. Okay, and that's all I need to get there. All right. Okay. Now, is it possible to start this virtual environment right from Anaconda Navigator? Well, it won't typically be what we do, but we can do it, okay? So if we just go to the right side of this entry for this virtual env and click on the triangle and then open terminal, okay? You can see that we've got, we're at the command line in terminal. We have already activated, it has already activated the virtual environment that we wanted. We can see because the name of it is in parens. E for Jupyter Notebook Assignment, okay? So how do you start the notebook server? Well, Jupyter, again with a Y, space notebook, enter, and it's going to start the server, and that's going to fire up the browser. And again, we're going to, here we are. We're at the same place. It's showing us the files that are in my user directory. Okay? And then we can go from there. And then again, if we wanted to create um, a new notebook, how would we do that? Well, it's probably worth a little practice here. So in the upper right, we click on New, okay, and we're going to pick Python 3. All right, and this is an untitled notebook, okay. Now, how would we change the name? Well, if we click on the name, that Untitled 9, I have a lot of Untitled ones, we could give it a name. I usually give it a name in plain old snake case. So we call this Test Notebook 1. Okay, and click Rename. And there it is up there. And where did it save it? Well, it saved it in it saved it in the directory that I was in. So I'm in my home directory, which on my machine is called Trainer 1. So that's where it's there, and it's called Test Notebook 1. And there are two kinds of cells that you can create in Jupyter. There is a code cell and there is a markdown cell. Okay, so let's begin with our code cell. Okay, because that's what we have here. I'm going to click in it. There are a lot of ways to know this is a code cell, things having to do with the coloring and all that kind of stuff. But one easy way is if you click in the cell and you look at the drop down, if it's a code cell, it's going to say code. And if it was another kind of cell like a markdown cell, well, it would say markdown. Okay, but let's just put in some Python, print goodbye cruel world, goodbye comma cruel world. Let's give it a capital W. Okay, period. And how do you execute a cell? Shift enter. So we see the code in the cell, and we see the output immediately under it. And it gave us another cell, so that's great. And let's show how to enter a markup cell. Okay, so first of all, we're on the cell. We need to change its kind to markdown. I said markup, but it's markdown because their key phrase is markdown is not markup. Okay, so I happen to know that if we just want a big title, like what in HTML would be in H1, we just put a single pound sign and a space, and we say something like this is a markdown cell. Okay, and again, how do we activate it or execute it? Shift enter, and then we have what is pretty much an H1 title. Okay, now while I'm thinking of it, I have included in the current semester a resource under other resources in the weekly schedule for Markdown. So it's this Cone M 2021, the Markdown Guide. And if you go there, you'll get a lot of resources about what's Markdown all about and what's syntax and what are some of the things that you could do. Okay, I'm not going to do the same for Python because this is a Python course. Okay, good. So we're done with this. I just wanted to show we were able to create a notebook. Okay. Um, if we want to stop working with the notebook, we can close the tab. Okay. Uh, if we come back to the main page for the Jupyter server, how could we find that file? Well, we could look it up. I called it test notebook 1. So we could click on that and we would come right back to it. The other thing we could do is we could close it and we could go to the top here and it's still running. And how do we know that? If we click on the tab for running, we can see that it's right there. Okay. And again, if we click on it, it would open the tab and we would see it. And if we want to shut it down, we could click on the shutdown button. Okay. So if we want to stop working with Jupyter, okay, we could go back to the terminal and we could shut down the server with Control C at the keyboard 2 times in quick succession. Or we can do it from the browser here by going up to the top and clicking on quit. And it stopped the server. Okay, so let's close the browser and look at the terminal. And we can see that that's been stopped. All right, that's good. Okay, so let's type in exit to exit the terminal session and close the terminal. I just also wanted to show you what if you wanted, what if you already had your virtual environment and then you wanted to start the notebook server without having to go into Anaconda Navigator? Well, you could here in macOS, you could go down to the, you could open a terminal window. Okay. And when you open a new terminal window, it's not using the virtual environment that we want is not activated. Which one's activated? Well, the one called base. Okay. Well, the one that we want is called E4 Jupyter Notebook Assignment. Okay. So how do we make sure that we have that? Well, there are a bunch of command line arguments for Anaconda when it's installed. And there is a Conda cheat sheet that you're able to download in which you can see the command line assignments. Okay. And I just happen to know that if I want to get a list of the virtual environments that have been created on this machine, I can type in conda space env space list. And here's a list of all the virtual environments. And we can see that we have E4 Jupyter Notebook Assignment, just what I want. Okay, so how could I activate that virtual environment? Well, I could type in conda activate E4 Jupyter Notebook Assignment, and there it is. So as soon as I've activated that virtual environment, then I can type in Jupyter Notebook, and it's going to fire it up. And there we go. Okay? So there are a couple of ways to, to get the notebook server started. Okay. Oh, and one thing that we haven't shown yet, let's close the browser with the notebook server running, and let's open a browser window again. So what do I want? I want a new window for Chrome. Always best to run it in Chrome, I think. So we've got that. And then if we look down here at the bottom of the terminal window, it gives us a couple of URLs that we can use to copy and paste it into a browser, right? So if we copy, I'm going to copy the first one and paste it in here and press enter. And there I am again. Okay. So I'm all done. And now again, I'm going to come back to my terminal window, and I'm going to, at the keyboard, I'm going to do a double Control C, and I'm done. Okay, so then I can do exit and close the window. All right, so that's what you need to do to create the custom virtual environment that we're going to be using for our Jupyter notebook assignment. Creating a custom environment for exactly the work that you're going to be doing in your notebook or set of notebooks is considered a best practice. So that's what we've done, and I'm going to send you off to the next tutorial, and I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.